I finally watched Shawshank Redemption after years of it being on my to watch list, and it did not disappoint. Highly recommend it, and I think the message is timeless because it still rings true to this very day, even though that film was done some time ago. The movie explores many interesting themes, but what I felt stood out to me the most was probably the question of whether the environment you're in will change you, and if yes, how. What I got from the film was that it does change you, and we are also often forced to adapt if we want to survive, especially in places where we didn't ask to be in, or when it just turned out to be an unfortunate situation you landed in. Spoilers ahead again, don't say I didn't warn you. Slight spoilers because I don't think I'm specific anyway. So the main character finds himself in jail. He maintains he is innocent, but the irony is that once he is thrown in jail, he then somehow turns into a real criminal for fraud, driven by the need to survive in the jail. I like that. I don't think it was made very clear if he committed the crime he was put in jail for, but the fact that once he got in, he slowly became a criminal. And that's relatable in that it begs the question, what would you do to survive if you were in that situation? The movie also paints a certain picture of people in positions of power and authority, which, granted, may not be the fairest representation, but for the purposes of the film, I think I can accept that kind of stereotypical representation of it. Another work of literature that now comes to mind is actually a book, All Quiet on the Western Front. It's about war, written from the German perspective. I'm not sure if it's because of the part of the world where I live, or just the usual media we import and consume. A lot of media and many books, fiction or non fiction, that I've happened to have easier access to are books and works written by whoever were the winners of war, specifically World War One and Two, since the book I'm talking about actually talks about World War One. I don't think I've had much exposure to works written by those on the losing side. The book All Quiet on the Western Front was written by a German who served in World War One, and it was actually banned in Nazi Germany. I thought it was such a great read because it basically talks about the life of this young soldier who is at the front lines. He's scared and wondering when all this will end. It reminds us that we are all the same, even though we may be on different sides of the fight, and it's such a great piece of work. I like that it's written in such a relatable way. It shows you how human people are. The soldiers at the front line, they enjoy the same things everyone their age enjoys. There are films adapted from this book, and I think I've watched one of them, one of the more recent ones. It's good, and I would recommend it to anyone, both the book and the film adaptation. This will be the last episode of this series. I didn't mean for it to be very long, and I think I have nothing else to say for now, at least. I am considering working on a bilingual podcast, either that or just one that's in Chinese. Maybe I'll do it sometime later if I am inspired enough to do so. But before that, I'll probably have another upcoming one in English. I'm planning for each of those episodes to be maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes maximum, where I can go a bit more in depth and where each episode focuses on a more specific topic compared to the current series, which I would say is really quite random. Let me know what you thought of this series, if you wish. And if you're still here, thank you for listening. If there are any movies, books, or just works of literature you like and would recommend, drop them in the comments.